We do have the right to freedom of speech in this country, don't we?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
Okay,
do.
so
but
there
are also laws for disrupting public meetings.
Yeah,
okay, and if you do that, you will be arrested.
I promise I will.
So the other evening, I had the great pleasure of spending time with Johnny and Matthew from Gloucester. Now, you might remember those two went in and caused a little bit of mayhem at their council by serving them notice on the fraudulent 5G applications that they'd passed. Johnny was the cameraman who filmed it upside down, and Matthew was the one going in serving notice. Here's a quick clip from what happened.
This is the Declaration of Conformity to protect the members of the public from radiation. Free UK Limited hasn't existed since 2015. So Companies House said they cannot be issuing any safety certificates. The Planning Inspectorate is fully aware that everyone here is complicit in fraud. So what are we going to do about it? This begins it. This is the fraud that you are committing. That company does not exist.
So we had a fantastic chat, a lot of which probably won't be able to go into this video because it's not YouTube friendly, let's say. But I'll put in as much as I can because the guys have done some great work in Gloucester and it's something we can all learn from. And there's something coming up that Matthew is doing that is rather time sensitive, which is why this video has bumped ahead of the long-awaited Sudbury video. I promise that will be next. So I asked Matthew how he got started with 5G.
In Gloucester, they haven't carried out any of the legally required public consultations. They've put a tower up opposite my house and I've got metal implants from riding motorbikes badly for years. So I'm not covered under the IPNA certificates.
In case you didn't see the interview Karina and I did with 5G campaigner Ian Jarvis, ICNIRP is the International Commission on Non-Ionising Radiation Protection, allegedly the safety guidelines, and they clearly state that implants, because of the conductive nature of metal implants, the ICNIRP guidelines do not cover anybody with implants.
So we've looked into it and the certificates of conformity that they must provide have come from a company called 3 UK Limited, which was dissolved in 2015. So it isn't a legal entity, hasn't got any directors, hasn't got any insurance, and hasn't got any liability for these products. That's confirmed by Companies House. It's been confirmed by the Planning Inspectorate and the Society of Radiological Protection. Have all confirmed that this is fraud. So we've reported that to Gloucestershire Constabulary, which, as we know, they run a two-tier policing system these days where they like to charge the public money, but if you're a councillor or an MP or working for the government, you're basically untouchable. So that's gone to their Deputy Chief Commissioner, and he's forwarded that on to the head of the local economic fraud division. So we're looking at that at the moment, and as soon as we notified the council, the planning officer resigned, and we found out at the meeting last night another 6 councillors, including the compliance officer, have handed in their letter of resignation yesterday as well. So
wow, they haven't reacted like that at Colchester. They've just said we're doing nothing wrong and it's fine.
Yeah.
So if we're here to do your job, those ones down the front, can you go and arrest them, please?
We're not going to do it.
Right. So can you leave and you're dismissed? We don't require. If you're not going to do your job, we don't require you.
We've been asked to come here.
Yes. Well, I'm now asking you to leave.
No. We've been asked to come here. You've had your time.
I haven't had my time. I've got to here and they've stopped me because they're committing malfeasance in a public office and they don't want to discuss it. So are you going to breach my human rights and deny me the right to speak?
Well, they've asked you to
Are you going to breach my human
They've
rights?
asked you to leave and you've refused to leave.
Because this is a public building and a public meeting.
He's got a question.
I've got a question which my human rights say I'm allowed to ask. The head of the European Commission on Human Rights was in Reuters today saying that human rights have to be obligated.
It doesn't look like a question, that looks like war and peace.
You can actually put a speech in, they haven't recorded them on that.
War and peace, what school did you go to?
There's a preamble. Every question has a preamble, otherwise you won't understand it.
Justifying the question.
Yeah,
sorry, Constable.
you have to have a bit of background to it, don't you?
I don't know much about what's happened previous, so I've asked you to leave.
Yes, it's a public building.
Are you going to...
It's a public meeting.
Are you going to leave?
Are you going to arrest the criminals?
No, I'm going to...
You have malfeasance in a public office.